Kia ora whānau, and welcome to another episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprises. I am your host, Alex Costas, and today I am just wanting to say a huge thank you for everyone that does continue to listen. Sorry about missing a episode last week. I really do, apologise for that. Fortunately, I had some stuff going on and I just needed to sort of deal with it. And then I thought what I would do instead is today's episode is going to be reading basically a blog post I just created about something that I created for the greater community to basically practice a bit of mindfulness. And for those people that sort of don't know about mindfulness, how to sort of start off the process basically. And also how important mindfulness is. So this goes in part with the actual article that I've created on my blog. You can of course find my blog at costasenterprises.business.blog. You can also email me doncostas@gmail.com. That's DONCOSTAS. That's N for Nike, and that's at gmail.com. So the latest post is, if you have 5 minutes, you can practice mindfulness. Now, I want this to sort of be your mindful journey, and you might say, well, Alex, I don't have enough time to meditate. You may not want to do anything like meditate or anything like that kind of hippie type thinking. Well, I want to tell you that, I've created a little PDF, which you can find on the blog post, which if you go to my website, you can find that there. And it can help you get into that mindfulness state. So first you might say, well, what is mindfulness? Will it cause me to get 5G like the virus? No, it won't. Basically, mindfulness is it's a state of being, okay? Now, I do take a definition through the blog post, and the definition is effectively that mindfulness is the basic human ability to be fully present, aware of what we are and what we're doing, and not overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. Okay, now if you go to the link there, that will take you to the mindfulness .org page, and it's just a great little space to find more about mindfulness and also how to practice it properly. So for me, I use mindfulness to help me control my emotions, okay? So, I'm not an expert. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I have found from listening to people that not enough people use mindfulness. They use all these other external excuses to, say that they don't need to do this, yet they still struggle. So, I thought I would, explain that, mindfulness does help me. I found it basically that I use the essence of mindfulness to slow down my thoughts. I accept and acknowledge my feelings. I work on sorting out any emotional things I'm going through, and that includes things like anger, stress, sadness, anxiety, all those fun emotions that we get. I also use mindfulness to further structure my day, my week, my month, or even my year. I use it to help me find the good in my life when the walls feel like they're crumbling down around me. Especially when it feels like it's getting a bit stressful. And you might be like, well, hang on, isn't that meditation? And, yes, it is a form of meditation. But you don't actually have to meditate. You don't have to get into lotus positions. You don't have to hurt your legs. There's no special yoga poses. All you really need is to learn how to control your breath to start. And by doing that, you will learn to, what we do, live in the moment. And you may be like, well, hang on, doesn't that take like an hour or 2 hours? That's way too long. I don't have time for that. Well, that's part of the reason I created this PDF. This PDF is 5 minutes of mindfulness. Okay, it's a very basic step-by-step sort of guide that will take you 5 minutes. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if you're prepared to go on the journey, keep your mind open. And in this podcast episode, as well as on my blog post, I will try to explain the PDF that I've created to you so that it makes sense. So 5 minutes that can potentially change your life. Yes, you just heard that. 5 minutes that can potentially change your life. This is not, this is not clickbait. This is not me trying to get you, what do you mean? This is going to work? If you're prepared to try mindfulness, do it properly for 5 minutes, get to the sessions that we're talking about, it can actually start to change your life. And if not, you know what? You tried it, it didn't work. On to the next one. Now, before you begin, you might be like, well, what do I need? Basically, nothing. That's right. You don't need anything to do mindfulness. All you need is yourself. Now, if you want to download the PDF, go through it together so that it helps you as a guide, you can use that. But it's not necessary. You can do that while you are listening to this voice, while you're listening to this podcast. You can go through each step. Step 1. Now, this might be a little bit hard for people. You basically want to shut down your brain. How do we do this? We close our eyes and we breathe deeply. So we begin with life's most precious gift, air. Now with mindfulness, I always start by closing my eyes and just breathing deeply. In, hold, out. Now, to breathe deeply effectively, there is a couple of methods that you can use, and one of the methods is the 4-4-4, or the box is the other way that people call it. And the 4 method is effectively you breathe in for 4 seconds. So you breathe in like, count it out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you hold, if you can, for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is the most important part. On your exhale, you exhale for 4, but you exhale to the point where you don't just push the air out of your lungs. You breathe it out. You control your exhale. Once you learn to start controlling your exhale, you'll start to feel that your tension in your arms will start to disappear. And the more you breathe in and out and get oxygen into your body, and the fact that you're controlling it both when it comes in and when it comes out, you will notice that you will start to feel better. Now, I know I said in the guide I say you should do this for 1 minute. Realistically, you want to do this the whole time you're doing mindfulness, okay? So sometimes 1 minute, sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. Now, the reason I say that if you keep breathing as you can, you'll get more out of your mindfulness experience. Breathing in and out will hopefully help you de-stress as you exhale. As I said, it is important that you're slowly breathing out and you're slowly breathing in. Think of trying to play a control game as the breath leaves your lungs. Now, if you're doing step 1 correctly, you should feel all tensions in your body starting to disappear. After your first, and I'm using quotation marks, minute, you can then move on to step 2. Now, step 2 is acknowledging all thoughts. You might say, what do you mean? Okay, this will sound a little weird, so let me try and explain it. While you are doing your breathing, your deep breathing, your in and out, you're starting to get yourself into a more relaxed state. You will find that while you're in this state of just breathing, that your mind will start to wander off. You start thinking about all the different things going on in your life. Maybe it might direct you to the fact that one of the lines I said earlier sounded very similar to the Friends theme song. It could be negative thoughts popping into your head, your subconscious wanting to get your attention. It might be that mobile game that you love and you have to keep playing all the time. Whatever it may be, what you need to do now is when these thoughts start to surface and bubble into your head, you need to acknowledge them so that you can let them go. So this is one of the most important parts of mindfulness. This step will help you focus on breathing. Your first and only thoughts during mindfulness to start off with should be breathe in, hold, breathe out. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Each doing it for 4 seconds. And you might be like, well, hang on, how do you actually acknowledge a thought and then forget it? Well, acknowledging a thought, either positive or negative, this is not just for negative thoughts, we're talking about all thoughts. What you're doing is you're effectively taking the power away from those thoughts. And by you breathing and changing your mind to focus only on breathing, you're taking control of those actions. And the actions are your deep breathing. And that's you starting to learn to live in the moment. Specifically, live in your moment. And once you can start to let these feelings and these emotions and these thoughts start bubbling into your head, and then you're able to let them go, that's when you're ready to move on to step 3. So step 3 is learning to release these thoughts. Okay? So by step 3, you should notice that actually all of these steps, they're all actually interconnected. You can't complete each step without doing the first couple of steps. So congratulations, young Padawan. You are ready to move on to training with the Master Yoda and the Dagobah system. Step 3 is about taking those acknowledged thoughts that you acknowledged before and then releasing these. Now this is easier said than done, as sometimes the thoughts that pop into your head may be from past experiences. They make you feel bad, or they might be your subconscious trying to undermine or sabotage you. The whole point of this step is to deal specifically with those negative thoughts. Now this is because these thoughts will not only distract you, but they may linger. They may deter you from wanting to reach your ultimate goal of being the greatest and most mindful person ever. Cue the maniacal laughter now, the wah-ha-ha. But seriously, how do you remove these thoughts from your head? I'm going to be real with you. You can't. Okay? At the very least, you can't completely get rid of them yet. There will always be a part of you, and until you seek professional help, you will need to resolve the underlying issues that are inside. Now, don't stop listening yet and just think, oh, I'm done. Hope is not lost. What you can do is you can focus on releasing those thoughts that you acknowledge on your next exhale. So, what I mean is, if a thought comes in, you go, okay, I acknowledge, yes, I feel bad about myself. But then as you breathe out, you let it go. If you can start to breathe it out of your body, you acknowledge that you've heard it. You acknowledge to your body and your mind and your soul that yes, you've heard this. And then by breathing it out, it goes into the ether. See, mindfulness was originally explained to me as imagine falling leaves falling into a river. The river is your state of mind. Each leaf is a thought that drops down, be it positive or negative. Remember, this is not just about negative thoughts. This is also positive thoughts too. Now, of course, too many leaves that fall in your river, what's going to happen? It's going to cause a dam. It's going to cause your state of mind to overflow. And we don't want that. So what we have to do is we have to take those leaves, and with our wind/breath, we exhale those thoughts out so that they don't affect our river. They might go to the other side of the bank, they might go to the other side of the river. But what I'm trying to say is, when a thought comes in and it starts to fall in your river and distract you, you need to tell that leaf to to make like a tree and basically fuck off out of your river. Now this does take practice, but when you can start to master this, then you know what, you'll be doing a one-handed handstand while you levitate rocks in an X-Wing and, using nothing but metachlorians in your blood. I mean the Force, obviously. Now step 4. Once you've learnt to start releasing those things, then what I want you to do is have a minute, preferably a little bit longer, but then start to be grateful. Practice gratefulness. This is about focusing in on the positive in your life. Noticing that, what you're feeling and what you think of things. What makes you want to keep on living life to the fullest? Is it your partner? Is it your children? Is it your parents? Is it that amazing once-in-a-lifetime trip that made you realize what you want to do with your life? Or that job that makes you get up in the morning? Yes to all of those, obviously. But the other thing that you need to think of is you can also be grateful and show gratitude to the little things. You might be grateful just for that cup of coffee that was made by your favourite coffee shop, or that nice old lady that gave you an apple out of nowhere. My point is that in this particular step, in step 4, you don't have to appreciate only the really big things, but also appreciate something simple as warm sun on your face with the breeze in the air. Be grateful and give thanks just for being alive. Now, gratefulness is one thing, but now is also a time to start thinking about gratitude. To your mind, to people, to animals, to experiences, anything that has helped you get to this state. So take a moment to recognize the things in your life that make you feel like living, because after your mindfulness journey, you may want to reach out and give back to those. And after you've got all the fuzzy, warm feelings, now you can move into the last and most important step. Live in your moment. Congratulations, the final stretch of hopefully your and many more mindfulness journeys. The last step is about living in your moment. Now, you may be asking, why do I say more your instead of as opposed to the, living in the moment? I like to think as you are on this journey. You've been breathing. You've been acknowledging your thoughts. You've been releasing your thoughts. And remembering what makes you grateful to be alive. Well, now it's up for you to start living your life. Living in your moment is being completely and utterly in your own state of being and mind. That you start to see things a little different. You're no longer controlled by others' influences, actions, or controlled by your own emotions. Now, I'm not saying this will lead you to nirvana, but it can't help to get you a further place in a peace in your own mind. You'll also find that in some mindfulness, it can help you think better in a difficult situation, or help you with the decision that you need to make. I want to thank you for taking this time to listen to my voice during this time. I do strongly suggest you go to my website, costasenterprises.business.blog, check out the latest blog post, and download the PDF. I've captured these 5 steps. Now, of course, the blog post is what I've just read, for the most part. But effectively, if you use this the way that I want you to use it, it will help you in your journey. It'll help you get healthy and it'll help you get better. So until next time, people, I want to say a big thank you. And as always, good luck. Enjoy your mindfulness journey. And remember that I love you.